If I were buying my first home today, mm, I wouldn't start with Zillow. I know we all jump on Zillow. This is the address that I want. No, that is not where you start first. I would implore you to start with the reality. I know that doesn't sound fun. That's not you marking out your countertops and your preferred neighborhood. Like, oh, Desayo, you're so boring. No, I want to live on the intersection of LA and New York. I get it. I know it can be super exciting, but do not put all of that first before you jump into the reality of your life, the reality of your finances, the reality of your emotion, the reality of the market. Okay. Buying a home is, let's just say, half math, half theory, half like I got approved, half like I have the down payment, half numerical, half quantitative. Half of that is psychology. It's your market readiness for you, your personal readiness, your financial readiness. And if you don't understand, or if you conflict both, you might be setting yourself up for not so great success. And what you might give up if you don't actually prepare properly for both sides, the numbers and the psychology, that may not show up on your closing docs. Let's just set it straight. But before we go forward, my name is Desayo. If you're new here, we've been doing this for a while now. Where have you been? Okay, welcome. My name is Desayo again. I'm a Harvard-trained ex-Wall Street professional helping real people like you take control of your money. Okay? Now, if I were to start again with my first property, I would just take the reality for what it is, understand the reality, and figure out how I want to play within that reality. Okay. If interest rates are high, what can you do? They're high. If the inventory is tight, I mean, what can you really do, man? There just aren't that many homes on the market where you want to be. They're just tight. And if sellers have leverage, they just do. They do. That's macro. That's nothing you can change. At least not directly, except you find that like rare deal. Then you will jump into, okay, this is my reality. Woosa. Take a deep breath, let it out. Now that we're here, you want to fully internalize that the market is the market. Sometimes when interest rates are high, that can push prices to be softer because there's reduced demand. A lot of people aren't buying as much because the interest rates are high. And so because people aren't buying as much, demand is down. And so the prices will also follow demand. It would, soften a little bit. But if the interest rates are low, demand tends to also get eager and it would go up a little bit. And when demand goes up, the prices also follows that and gets a little bit tighter. You just want to understand that trend a bit. It is not a one-to-one rule, but at least if you understand that, that can also be part of the context that you're internalizing. So do with that what you may. And if you aren't finding the intersection of the home that you want and the price point that you want, you have a couple of options. You may decide, all right, sort of what I want it's not quite working out. You might decide, all right, I may want to buy smaller. I know I wanted this like extra big, extra green, extra that home, but maybe in these market conditions, that isn't quite happening for me. So maybe let me take something a little bit smaller that I can handle. You could also say, you know what, I was hoping to get something in the $800,000 range, but if I did that with the interest rate that I have right now, it'll be a little bit too much for me. So maybe not 800, maybe I'll do 600, maybe I'll do 400. You could buy lower. The numbers are hypothetical. It just depends on your city and your market and on your financial realities. You could also say, the home that I want is supposed to be like the home that's like starting out my life. I'm an ambitious blue collar, white collar, ambitious professional. And I'm just trying to get into my first home and this is my starter. Or you can say, I have a family now. I sort of want to transition us from renting into something that's a little bit more stable and would determine like, our living life or are leaving home for the next, couple of years, maybe even knocking on a decade, but you might want to predefine that so that when you were then making the idea or the choice that this is my starter home or this is my midlife home or this is my forever home and things aren't quite driving, what do I do? Do I scale back a bit? Do I not buy that like midlife home and kind of roll back to a starter? Just redefine where you are, redefine your intersections, redefine your numbers, and then make the math work for you. Or you could just wait because that's also a strategy. Sometimes waiting might be the most important part of your portfolio where you're like, okay, if I wait a little bit longer, but also understand the trade-offs, right? Like if I wait a little bit longer, feds might cut rates, and if they cut rates, that would affect the market. If rates come down, just realize that maybe you're not the only person waiting. Maybe a few other people are also starting on the sidelines and saying, I'm going to hold on to my cash for now. And so if rates indeed come down, a little bit more buyers might flood the market and prices may push up. Or you could say, you know what, I'll buy now because I know that if they cut rates, I can refinance. Understand that there are also modalities to refinancing, and you also want to make sure that it makes sense for you when you refinance. But really getting into that context and understanding the trade-offs between the choices that you're making, that is where I want you to be. There's really no perfect moment. Usually what happens is for you to make really an informed trade-off. So these are the things I'm leaving on the table because I want to get X, Y, Z. And I know why, and it makes sense for me in my personal situation. And sometimes, like I said, your superpower is patience. Sometimes it's discipline. Sometimes it's just knowing that, look, my taste just don't align with my income or my financial situation. Like, I would like a mansion in Beverly Hills. I would love to live next to Rihanna, or maybe not. But with the way with the way my life is set up, not quite isn't working out like that. I'm not quite there yet, and just realize that maybe the market just isn't aligning with your financial reality, and that's growth. That's maturity. Just knowing that I'm just not quite there yet. I'm not where I want to be for what I want. Because, even if you want something, it doesn't mean you should buy it. It doesn't mean you can afford it. And even if you qualify for that loan, it doesn't mean that you should buy it. The math that the bank is running to qualify you, they're just running ratios. They're just taking your DTI and taking your income and doing a bunch of gymnastics with it and telling you, all right, this is a number. They're not looking at your stress tolerance. Hey, darling, they're not. They're not looking at how you handle stress. They're not looking at all the different things that kind of come into the dynamics of owning a home, the responsibility that comes with that. You just need to realize that the bank is handling their business. The realtors are going to handle their business. They can tell you anything that they want. They're handling their business. And you, my friend, you need to handle yours. You need to handle your business. Okay. You also need to know that your entry point can determine a lot. Your entry point can be the difference between whether or not you're skipping a night, very well, very comfortable in this gorgeous master bedroom, or maybe you're not there long enough because you got to be on the street hustling to pay for that home. So you're not even putting your heads to the pillow. I've run the numbers long enough to know that two different people can buy the same property, different entry prices, different interest rates, and one is having a cozy time because they're good. And somebody else is just like in over their heads, and you don't want to be the latter. Okay. Your purchase price will determine your monthly payment. Your monthly payment will then determine your margin. How much of this is, my income? If my income were to disappear today, can I still continue paying this without stress, and for how long? And your margin essentially is your room for peace, is how much time you're going to get to sleep and enjoy this new home that you've just bought. Okay. Let's get it very straight. And then let's establish something. Are you even ready? I know this sounds very uncomfortable, and it's like, oh, Desayo, you're so boring. Oh my goodness. Why are you asking me that? Yes, I got approved. I am ready. I want to move into the suburbs, or no, I want to leave downtown. Like, I want to have a view of the moving tower right in the center of the city. Great. Okay, that's fine. You may think you're ready for your first home, but readiness is not, I got approved, like I mentioned. The bank is running their business. They're putting a bunch of ratios together. They're taking your W-2s. They're taking your tax returns and doing a bunch of gymnastics. But it doesn't mean that they understand the scope, the full scope of your life. It doesn't mean that they understand competing priorities in your life. It doesn't mean that they understand that you're still responsible for ABC people. It doesn't mean that they understand that there is other debt that may not reflect your W-2, that may not reflect in your naked financial documents that they collect. You know you, and you need to handle your business in the best way that's healthy for you. Okay. You need to know whether or not your income is stable. I know you just got a new job and my goodness, you got that salary raise. And we're going to dance a lot on this channel because why not? Life is too short not to dance. Okay. So we're going to dance a lot on this channel. And yes, you got that raise. I like it for you. I love it for you. But is it stable? Are you sure that that raise is not going to put you on the first chopping list if anything were to happen to the economy? I'm not wishing you bad. I'm just saying that the raise is great, but is it stable? That's the actual crux. How much cash reserves do you have? I know you got a down payment. That's cool. You got that 3.5%. Like you had that on lockdown. Oh, actually, I got 20%. What do you mean? I ain't that bad. I got 20. Fine, you got 20%, but how much more than that do you have? Okay. And consumer debt, like how much car loans do you have, student debt, like how much credit card debt do you have? And all of that together, how are you servicing those loans? Are you ready? Are you able to really have an optimal life with this huge responsibility added to your shoulders? This weight of this home is great to do your housewarming and to imagine how it would feel like when you're serving your hors d'oeuvres and, you wine to your guests during your housewarming. Fantastic. We can dream all we want. But the weight of that responsibility, how does it feel? How would it feel on your shoulders? You want to be very, very sure of that. Do you have emotional clarity? Emotional clarity on this home, on this purchase, on this location, on the numbers, the exact numbers, and knowing that the number that is projected on your closing documents, there's a plus or minus. It could go up, it could go down as the years go by. Taxes can shift, insurance can shift. That number is not a guaranteed number. And if that happens, do you have enough margin, or are you really, really squeezing it tight? And maybe a couple $100 here or there can really knock your socks off. You want to make sure that you're clear on that. And also being clear on the fact that the home that you're choosing is for you and not for everybody else. Not for the optics, not for the mama we made it. It's for you. The location is for you. It befits and suits you. There's a reason behind, and you can defend it and justify it to yourself because you're all that matters after all. And lastly, do you understand the responsibility of owning a home? Do you really understand the responsibility of owning a home? Because if you do not, come closer. It's a hard one. It's a hard one. I mean, let's talk about a 30-year mortgage. 30-year mortgage, it means that every single month, on the first of every month, if you do auto payment, or you have grace until right about half the month, depending on your provider, your bank, or your mortgage provider. But every single month, every 30 days, you got to pay that money for 30 years. How old are you? You're 30? Okay. You're 29? Okay. For as long as your entire life has been, you have to keep paying that money if you don't get out of that mortgage. Get out of that mortgage, i.e. sell the property, or whatever the case is, pay off that mortgage. It is 30 freaking years. We're going to establish that you're 30 now. It means that until you're 60, you're going to be paying that loan every 30 days. Come rain, come shine, different administration, different macroclimate, jobs on, jobs off. 30 years. All your kids would have been grown. If you don't have any now, you may end up having kids in the time of this mortgage, and they'll be gone to college by the time you're done paying up. Like, you'll be closing up on retirement, assuming you're 30 now. Okay? It's your entire life. Stay in that location, move from that location, it doesn't matter. It's your entire life. Now, I understand you can sell the property But if that's your point going in, then you have to really understand your entry point, because your entry point determines how much flexibility you have on the flip side. I have a lot of emotions on real estate, which you can already tell. This is a topic that I can talk about for hours. Okay. But you need to understand the weight and the responsibility. And that's just on the payment side. What about on the maintenance side? I have clients who are just like, I gotta pay somebody $50 to cut my grass every 30 days over the summer. Why? And it's like, yeah. I remember when I walked into my first, and I was like, okay, so how do I find someone to cut this grass? I didn't even know until I was told. So yeah, there's the responsibility of maintaining the property. I will guarantee you in those 30 years, your roof is probably going to go out. The foundation may go out. Oh, your HVAC, the lifeline of that is just about 10 to 15 years. So it will go out. Something's going to happen to it. And I'm talking about the material things now, but what about the little things? Oh, something happened with your refrigerator, and like something happened with like whatever. Your toilet is out, you need a plumber. Your sink got clogged, you need it. No, you can't just pick up the phone and call the apartment complex anymore. This is now you. It's for you to figure out. And there are so many people out there that can help you. Now you need to understand how to choose the right professionals for your home project. Like, there's just so much. There's so much. And this is not to scare anybody. It's just so that you understand the weight of owning a home. It's not glitter and glamour all the time. I know it feels good. Oh, this is my space. I'm going to paint this wall black. And this room is going to be our multimedia room. And I'm going to plop on a 100-inch TV here. Fantastic. And when all is said and done, I know your home is heavenly and it's your safe haven. Best believe you better pay that mortgage every 30 days and make sure the home is not run down while it's under your care, because you're going to have to fix that if you ever want it to sell. Okay? And if you like content like this, why don't you brag about it? Brag about it. Brag about it. And you're like, well, how should I? Subscribe and hit that notification bell. Join the family. We will love to have you. Of course, if you like to hear me yapping, I will be dropping another video very, very soon. So you better turn on that notification bell and join me on my next one. I'll see you soon.